is one step closer to becoming king of the pirates, because in this week's chapter of One Piece, he is about to single-handedly do battle with an entire army, all of which has been concocted by the candy-loving Big Mom and her crazy-ass family. The word epic gets thrown around a lot these days, but honestly I think it's the perfect word for this week's chapter of One Piece as Luffy prepares to do battle with an entire army, all by himself, fueled by his rage after his tense confrontation with Sanji. This week's chapter was just freaking great. Truly, Luffy is becoming Goldie Roger in this week's chapter as he's getting ready to fight against Big Mom's army. A lot of familiar faces, and a lot of them that we haven't even seen before, which made this a very visual treat of a chapter. So what's the story in this week's chapter of One Piece? Very simple, my friends. Luffy prepares to do battle with Big Mom's army, and it looks like Sanji is going to go through with marrying Pudding. This way he won't have to put his friends and family through all sorts of heartache. We've seen Luffy angry and pissed off before, but I think he's honestly reached a new level in this chapter as he's being forced to fight against Big Mom's army. Like I said, there's a lot of familiar faces here, a lot of these sons and daughters that we've seen. Bobbin even returns, who still manages to look like some sort of weird, freakish Leatherface-esque psycho killer, but there's a few new characters that I don't think I've ever seen before. There's this one female who has this ridiculously long hat. Like, ridiculous by One Piece standards. So it's definitely over the top. She also has this really long sword. And there's also a couple of other new guys sprinkled in. Some guy with a ridiculous and impossibly long neck. A group of soldiers who are dressed up like chess pieces. Really, this has got to be one of the liveliest bunch of characters that I've seen from the One Piece series. And I cannot wait to see it all unfold in the anime version. With music, voice acting, and an amazing explosion of color. I honestly think this is going to be the most zany and colorful arc that we've ever seen from the One Piece series. Not to mention, we finally got to see Zeus and Prometheus in action, which are the weather-based entities that are controlled by Big Mom. There are a lot of theories as to how she was actually going to be able to pull this off. Apparently in this chapter it is officially confirmed they're just a couple of her homies. Just some weird things that she was able to imbue with the power of her soul. But the fact that she can actually take control of the weather with her soul powers is honestly kind of terrifying. Going back to Luffy fighting against Big Mom's army, I love how the battle actually starts, with him immediately just taking out a lot of them and just hitting them with a flurry of Gatling punches. You can tell that he's incredibly exhausted and super pissed off. I also love the little small detail that when it's actually raining, it's some sort of like Japanese candy, I forgot the name of it, but it's rain candy, and because it's food, Luffy even refuses to eat that. Just think about that for a second. Luffy is refusing to eat. Speaking of new faces, we also get to see some more of the daughters and sons of Big Mom, who are just as sadistic as she is. She has a daughter by the name of Anana, who is looking for some knives so that she can torture her stuffed animals. Seems normal, right? She also has two very rotund sons who like to fly around on balloons, as well as countless other nameless ones. Truly, Big Mom is getting real busy. I feel sorry for all of the pelvises who had to endure all of that woman. We also finally get a formal meeting between Big Mom and Germa 66, which is pretty much exactly what I expected. Basically, they're just loving the fact that they're about to team up and be one of the most powerful forces in the One Piece universe. However, there's a lot of things about the scene that are very interesting. I'm not just talking about the fact that almost everything has a face and is talking. The food is actually begging to be eaten, which is kind of fucked up when you really think about it. It's kind of like Sausage Party. The only thing that's missing is Seth Rogen's ogre laugh. But there's something very strange about Sanji's father mentioning that the next day is going to be a day that they will never forget. I don't know if he's just trying to be all formal or nice, or maybe he actually has another ulterior motive. Maybe Germa 66 is actually trying to take over Big Mom's island. While I don't think that's happening, I can't rule anything out quite yet. We spend the rest of the chapter with Sanji and Pudding, with Sanji letting Pudding know everything that's happened to him, his past, his family, how he got captured, and why he has to go through the wedding in order to help his friends. And it's weird, because typically we all know that Sanji is just a completely love-struck fool, and here he's playing it really cool. I'm surprised he hasn't done anything really stupid, but he's actually willing to go through with this marriage, and Pudding seems to be along with it as well. What is really funny is the fact that he actually is covering up his face with this other weird mask that he can peel off freaking Patrick Bateman style. I don't know, it's freaking weird, but it's really funny when you actually see his face, because you expect it to look a little more messed up and disfigured, but it still has kind of like that goofy One Piece weirdness to it. You know what I mean. So what's the rundown on this week's chapter of One Piece? This one was a fantastic read from a visual standpoint. There were just so many characters thrown into that army scene that honestly it was mind-melting. I had to look at the chapter a couple of times to sort of appreciate everyone that was there. And yet, this is still just a small selection of the characters. I'm still incredibly interested to see what's going on with Chopper and Carrot, as they're still running away from Brule in the mirror world. I know I'm not the only one who noticed those 3 gigantic mirrors in Pudding's room. There's a chance that they could have overheard that conversation, or maybe that's actually where they're going to exit out and find Sanji, which I think would be incredibly convenient, by the way. We still don't really know what's going on with Brook and Pedro, so there's still a lot of things to get to, but it's amazing that we're getting to such a ridiculous action scene right here, with Luffy taking on all of these people. I mean, could he possibly defeat this many well-known super-powered pirates? Is he simply just going to gumu them to death? Is he going to use his Conqueror's Haki? Is someone else going to jump in and start kicking ass and helping him out in the battle? Is Nami going to do something? Is Nami actually going to take control of Prometheus and Zeus because she has the power to control weather? I think that would be a nice twist, and it would be a great addition to her arsenal as well. There's all that and more in this week's amazing chapter of One Piece, and since it was so good, that of course means that they're going to be on break for the next chapter. Honestly, I'm okay with this. If the quality continues to be this consistent, I wouldn't mind having One Piece being like a twice-a-month series, you know, bi-weekly. Let's get a chapter every 2 weeks, as long as it has this quality of artwork and crazy action and twists and turns and great storytelling, then I'm all for it. Yet, I'm still pumped up for the anime version. That's the one thing that gets me so excited about reading One Piece manga chapters, because I'm always trying to imagine how this is going to play out in the anime version, and my god, do the animators have their work cut out for them. Just the fact that there's so many things in the background that are constantly moving, talking, and smiling, I really hope they're not going to take too many shortcuts when they actually get to this arc, especially because it's just so incredibly colorful and creative. And that's what this chapter was all about right here. It was filled with a lot of emotion, especially from Luffy, who was just pissed right the hell off. And then you have the incredibly sad story of Sanji, who has no choice but to go through this marriage in order to protect his plans. And then, of course, there's Pudding herself, who I'm sure is a good guy. I'm pretty sure that she's being sincere. I don't think she has any plans to sort of like trick Sanji. It would be really bad for her as well. Although, after seeing some more of Charlotte's children, I'm starting to question her motives just a little bit. That little girl who wanted to frickin' torture her stuffed animals, that's some freaky shit right there. All of her kids are honestly pretty disturbing. Pudding being the most normal one, of course, it's kind of hard to judge. I mean, there's still Lola who's still out there who could possibly appear, maybe meeting up with her sister Chiffon. I'm really interested to see if she's going to make an appearance in this arc. She could be really instrumental in actually helping out the Straw Hats, considering the relationship that she had with them. I mean, imagine if she pleaded her case to Big Mom, saying, "These are the guys that saved me. They saved me from Gecko Moria. My shadow has returned." Maybe that will help out Big Mom. I don't know. There's just so many things that could happen in this arc right now, and it's already going so crazy. All I know is it's an incredibly exciting time to be a One Piece fan, and this is already turning into one of my favorite arcs from the series. I don't know if I even have a favorite arc from the series. You know, I just mentioned Gecko Moria. I really did love the Thriller Bark saga, but I still think my favorite saga in the entire series, believe it or not, is Impel Down. I just loved that prison arc for some reason. But this one right here is just so creative in so many ways and so lively that it's hard not to get excited about it. So, I loved this chapter right here. Absolutely loved it. Had to read it a couple times. I loved it so much. And I'm a big action junkie, and there wasn't that much action in this chapter, but this one was a testament to the skills of the author, the story, and the amazing characters and world that is One Piece. I'm giving this one right here a 5 out of 5. I loved it. One Piece fans, definitely check out this week's chapter. If any of you guys did read this one, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. Do you have any theories as to how Luffy is going to be able to defeat this army? Is someone going to jump in and save him? Is there going to be another twist that we don't even see coming? Is Sanji really going to go through with the marriage? What do you want to see from the rest of this brand new arc of One Piece? Please tell me in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, and leave me a comment or two. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby.